Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Sports Orbit. Today's edition promises to be exciting and a bumper package. My name is Afa Acho and I'll be your host for today. And I have my guest, or my colleague, so to speak, Salifu Usman.
It's now good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Alpha. It's good to be here again. Back on the show.
How are you doing? You look good today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, we'll start with today's episode with the Paralympics. As we all know, the Paralympics will begin today in Tokyo, and just like the main Olympics itself, it will be without the normal fanfare that we usually experience during competitions of this magnitude. The march past and all of that will be held without fans and all of that because of the coronavirus. But what do you make of it? Do you still hope that we're going to still see a fantastic games in spite of the restrictions and all of that?
Yeah, just like the normal Olympics that held about 2 weeks ago, and apart from the usual band of expectation from the stadium, even the athletes themselves were also being restricted from having their usual moving around to interact well. So you only go to your event, compete your event, and then move straight to the game village. But vis-a-vis the Japanese has proved that like the main Olympics has proved that they're very good organizers and very cooperative. They have a lot of volunteers who are already doing the wonderful job in the Olympic, and you can't expect anything less from this Paralympic. And good at it. If you look at it, if you watch the opening ceremony, it was a lot of very interesting and very marvelous, and the athletes were ready to show and give it to Team Nigeria's. They still the show. They came out with their usual green and white style and prove that yes, they are in the game to give the run for their money, to give other competitors a run for their money. And I believe that these are competitions to the Olympic. We have a very fantastic squad made up of very experienced athletes who have won gold at many Olympic and international other world championship. At least that they're just like they did in the Olympic. I believe that this team will still do the same thing at this Olympic.
Just like over past Olympics and Paralympics also, it's always been on record that when it comes to the Paralympics, we seem to always perform well at the Paralympics. Is it like our Paralympians are more capable of getting the job done than the main Olympians? Because even in Rio 2016, at the end of the day, Nigeria became 17th overall with 12 medals in total, winning about 8 gold, 2 silver, and I think 2 bronze medals. You expect the Paralympians to also do well again this time around? I have no doubt that we'll do well, but do you think we'll better our Rio performance this time around?
For sure, just like you said, in like the previous Olympics and the Paralympics, it's also that when we went to the Olympic and we don't get the desired result, but when you came to the Paralympic, we always try to have an edge, do well. And I don't expect anything less from this particular team. Most especially that if you look, just like I said, most especially that the athletes that are going to represent Nigeria at the Paralympics are well-known athletes, international athletes of repute, that even the all over the world they know them. And then when it came to powerlifting and the rest, you give it to Team Nigeria, and the rest of the Folashade, the Luis Ejikis and the rest, believe that definitely they're going to do Nigeria proud. I have no doubt that this team will surely do well. And just like the Minister of Peter was saying, that he has full confidence on the team, definitely deliver.
Still following along those lines, the minister has come out to express confidence in the Paralympics team. He said he's very sure that the Paralympians will live up to expectations. And I mean, I quite agree with him. We've always seen the Paralympians always coming to, put up a good show in this Olympics. So do you think, is it like the Paralympians, is it like the organization in their own federation, is it like it's better or their needs are met? But there has to be something going on well for them to perform this way, because they are still Nigerians, just like even the other Olympians, but they always seem to perform better. What do you think is that thing that has been working well for the Paralympians or in the federation, so to speak?
I think what has been working well for the Paralympics is about, I think it's about their individual determination. Remember, they say there's ability in this ability. And those guys, those athletes has over the years proved that yes, they may be look physically disabled, but in terms of ability, it doesn't affect their abilities and their strength. They have proved that they have a lot of strength in their disability and they only able in their disability. And I believe, just like you said, you may see that these people, they're also Nigerians. What is really why is other factors affecting other Nigerians, other federations, even in Paralympics, for instance, like the last World Championship that they held in Nigeria here, once Nigeria won, period to that World Championship, even at the World Championship, we have a crisis. The crisis in the Paralympic, in the Paralympic. But despite that, those athletes don't not because they always have an issue in the literature of Paralympics. But notwithstanding the crisis, the minister came in and tried to ensure that it's a team Nigerians and team Nigeria ensure that they ensure the athletes that you should go out and perform. Don't mind the leadership of the federation. But yet the team still went home, the athletes still went home, and won the championship. What was in Nigeria. So those athletes they never give it down to the crisis, either it is the crisis or the crisis, or they believe that it's about them first. Because I believe that because it is because they are physically challenged, they feel that it is about them first before the federation. And so they never allowed whatever any Nigeria factors, whatever you see Nigeria factors or any crisis anywhere to affect them. And they always do that, and I strongly believe that they will still do the same thing at the Tokyo Olympics.
All right,
and I see that other athletes also try to borrow a leaf from the Paralympian.
Yeah.
If you're even talking about having an issues, the para athletes always have more issues than compared to the able athlete. Sometimes if you look at the care and the provision that we always give to the able athlete. Look, okay, for instance, in terms of the media have now, when we are going to the Tokyo Olympics, the Olympic proper is coming, there's a lot of media have about Nigeria. Now we are going to the.
A lot of people don't even know that. I mean, except maybe a few of us in the industry.
So many people don't know that as a Paralympic
exactly.
But despite that, those athletes don't mind either you are supporting us or you're not supporting us. They believe that it's about them first, and they try to prove that they are ready to do it. And I like the other athletes also borrow a lead from those parallel athletes. Because first and foremost, you represent the country, yes, but it's about you first.
Exactly.
For instance, if Alpha is an athlete, it's about you first. When you do it, you take the credit first because in that place, whose country are you coming from? So athletes will also try to have this at the back of their mind that you should also, yes, we may have an issue, but try to build on yourself and ensure that you succeed. But when you succeed, the credit go to you first before your country.
All right, this is really wishing the Paralympians is successful out there in Tokyo.
And to add more to that, Nigeria is going to compete in four events, which is para powerlifting, para athlete canoe, and the rowing, and with 22 athletes. Yeah. So we hope that at the end of the day, I believe that will not come. I believe that we will not come back no less than 5-7.
I agree. They've always performed very well historically, so this Olympics too will not be any different. All right, moving away from that now to basketball. The FIBA AfroBasket championships will be, starting in Mali. Kigali, absolutely, tomorrow and Wednesday. Okay, we are playing tomorrow against Mali. Sorry,
the championship actually
starts today. Nigeria plays Mali tomorrow, and of course, Mike Brown has come out to express plenty of optimism that he believes the Tigers will, do well. Although before I saw it somewhere else where he expressed a bit of concern that the championship was coming too soon after the Olympics, and of course, he explains the reasons why a lot of, our usual top NBA stars are not even participating because a lot of them have to return to their clubs because the NBA season is also about to begin. So a lot of them couldn't make it. But he still believes that with the team we have on ground, the team is good enough to do well in Kigali, especially with our first game in Mali. Do you share in this optimism?
Yes, I share your views, and I believe that he has, at the end of the day, has come out to that tension and give Nigeria hope that yes, the team is ready. Because just like you say, even everybody. So I wonder, everybody so much concerned, was a bit worried why the FIBA Africa decided to hold this event
just
2 weeks
after the
Olympics. AfroBasket is a major championship, and the team are just coming from a major championship, and we are now
not even getting proper rest,
and bringing up to going for just a big competitions like AfroBasket championship. And just like Mark Brown said, if South Americans and the Europeans have decided to shift their own continental championship next year, what's stopping the Africans and the Asian continent to do the same? But I don't know, but it has come. The competition has come to stay, and they're going to hold it. But just like that most of the Nigeria top players, most of the players who play at the Olympics are not going to be around for this competition. But my brother, notwithstanding, I say that the player he has as his disposal will be ready to do also, and it's not only Nigeria that is going to be affected. Even though some other African countries are also going to lose their key players, and definitely, and I also see it is that it may be a blessing in disguise, in the sense that this has given opportunities to have local players in the team, as well as capacity for. If it has been a normal time, maybe the team could have been dominated as usual about the NBA players. But it's a blessing in disguise in the sense that we have 4 local players, and definitely those four players are going to get a chance to play.
Exactly.
And by the time they get the chance and prove them, definitely the coach in another time will have to look inward and to play more local players. It will be an opportunity, and I believe that the local players will have a team to see this opportunity and to impress the coach, and definitely to prove that yes, they are also as good as their foreign counterparts.
Yeah, particularly when the team list came out, I was excited that at least we had 4 home-based players, making that team. And like you said, this will be, a good experience for these home-based players. Some of them this will be their first time to play in a championship of this magnitude. So moving forward, but do you really think that without our NBA-based stars that we can actually go far in this competition?
Yes, we can. I believe so. We can actually go far, but I don't think Nigeria is not the only one that is going to lose the players. Senegal are also having the same issues.
No, I agree. The difference is, you see, like Senegal, I understand when it comes to basketball league, Senegal has a better basketball league than Nigeria. So
and they're unlike our own that is coming
exactly.
Those other African countries have a league running.
So that's where the difference might come in. Even irrespective of who represent this country. So
but even as I will still have another about 10 other players who are from Europe, and Asian continents who are also coming to the team, and those players are also top players. So let's see how it goes. I believe that Magran is a very good coach, and I believe he will be able to make use of what he has to impress.
All right, moving away from basketball, we still have some volleyball to talk about. We have transfer news and other matters. But before we go into that, we'll go for a short break, and when we return, Sports Orbit continues. Yes.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Welcome back from that short break right here on Sports Orbit. And we continue with tech ball. In the tech ball competition, which is about to, begin, Team Nigeria is set to be participating this time around in the competition, and 16 teams are participating in this competition, which will be held in Abuja from 26th to 29th of August. The first phase of the tournament will take place from 26 and 27 at the central area. You think we have a chance of, making a serious impact in this competition? After all, we are even the hosts.
Tech ball is a new game
Actually,
being practiced in Nigeria, and I believe that the federations of the tech ball organizing local competitions like this will give the opportunity to develop the game further.
exactly.
And the 16 teams that are coming from Team Nigeria to participate in this game, all holding first in the central island and then in the Wuse area.
Yeah.
I think definitely that will give an opportunity and then to discover more talent, to discover the talent that definitely, because Nigeria has it is a new game that is
Exactly. That's because a lot of people don't even know about it.
A lot of people don't even know about the
Yes.
tech ball and how it's being played. So it's a new game, and definitely organizing competitions like this will give opportunities and the forum to develop the competition, to develop the sport, and I give kudos to the organizers, and they also commend the federation thinking of this kind of idea. And I also urge them to organize more of these competitions, more and more.
Even in other
other
zones,
zones
so
of the
that
country, yes, definitely,
so that that awareness.
to create more awareness,
Exactly.
so that everybody can get the awareness about the competition. And that is good. It's a good innovation.
All right, moving away from that, we'll go straight into football, and this time talking about Orlando Pirates. Orlando Pirates are in talk for the transfer of Olisa Nda of Aqua United, and they are hoping to seal this deal before the end of the transfer window. Just before we even go further than that, the champions Aqua United, looks like a lot of their players have been quite moving on since they won that championship. Wouldn't this be sort of backfire at the end of the day going into the new season? You come out strong, win the championship, and players are moving on. Yes, agreed, players will always go for greener pastures, but shouldn't there be some sort of, reward system in place where you try to even give these players some kind of incentive to even enable them go? This time around, Olisa is moving on to Orlando Pirates. Good move for him. Is that what you think?
Well, good for the players as a person, but these are but I don't know the ticket of the management of Aqua United. Mr. Paul Bassi, if he's the chairman of Aqua United, I don't understand what is his ticket. Because you can't win a championship and we have a Champions League coming up.
And you're losing most of your
Africa,
players.
and you're allowing your key players to move out of the team to go to another club. And what Sky play, I don't know what his behalf is. What is his plan for the Champions League? But if you have a good plan for the Champions League, but I think you need your key player to be kept and bring more new players to strengthen the team to compete in the Champions League. But my worry about Nigerian players is that and their management and their agents, that they always believe that selling the players is the best option.
Exactly.
It's not the best option. Yes, our league, no, if you look at the way when the NFL president comes to say, sometimes they do that they are going to ban players, stop players from from going to an obscure league outside. A lot of people criticize him for that talk. It was a good thinking, but the way he presented it made some people to kick against that shape. But I don't see why you should move if you're a champion, Nigerian champion. You move to Orlando Park. Yes, Orlando.
Good side, but it's still if you're moving to a top side in Europe.
Yes, even in the top side, even you go into the top side, not at this particular time.
When you need
we need to play to play for the cash options. Even we need to have a system that to retain our player back. We only believe that most of our players always see our Nigerian club as a stepping
As a
stone.
stepping stone, yes.
That what they need just to play and let me get the opportunity to move outside. Either whoever come up, whoever or whatever name, as provided it's an outside club, let me just go. Yeah, and it's not supposed to be so. But if I'm playing, yes, if I'm a Nigerian champion, playing for Aqua United in Nigerian champion, I don't see why reason is to move to our Orlando Pirates. Yes, in terms of structures and everything, they may have better than us. But at least you still believe that yes, where you are, you should be proud of it. And to still remain Nigeria. But more importantly, that Aqua United is going to play in the Champions League next season. And who told you that you can't use Aqua United platform to launch yourself to a bigger club in Europe? So if I have opportunity to advise, I would advise no. It is not the right time for you to move to Orlando Pirates. When you move to Orlando Pirates now, you don't even know what to do to me at Orlando Pirates. It's better you remain in Aqua United. More importantly, that Aqua United is going to play in the Champions League this season. You use the opportunity to launch yourself out.
And it's not even guaranteed. It's starting in Pirates.
But in Aqua United, you're already a key player and a key star. And definitely, if Aqua United is going outside, you'll be one of the stars to rely on and definitely use that platform to send yourself out. And especially, we're also part of this Super Eagles team that went to US against play against Mexico. It's an opportunity for you. Still remain here and use that platform to grow yourself.
Still on football, this time moving away from the African continent and straight to Europe, and the Gunners are still in the news. I mean, I don't expect them to not be in the news. The Gunners will keep in the news for a long time until things begin to change at the Emirates. But for now, the Gunners are still in the news, and this time around, reports say that actually the reports I saw earlier today was that the top shots at the Gunners have given Arteta, I think, 4 or 5 matches. What we heard was that if results do not improve in the next 5 games, he will be shown the way out. And a certain Antonio Conte is being rumored to take over the reins at the Emirates Stadium. Do you think this is what Arsenal need at this time? Changing coach just even before the half of the season?
Wait, if Arsenal management are still giving Arteta another after losing your first 2 matches, conceding 4 goals without even making an attempt to score anyone. As we are speaking at the moment, Arsenal is down, is second on the bottom on the relegation zone. Bottom of the
just 2 matches.
No, you can't just say it's just 2 matches. It's just 2 matches, but it's just 2 matches. Somebody's at the up, and you are still giving him to have another 5 months to prove himself. That means you're telling that definitely if you win the next match, you have to
which is against Man City.
I was against Man City. Definitely that the next match, just like I said about 2 days ago, is also potential defeat for Arsenal. And if what I expected the Arsenal management to have is that if he can't get the result against Man City, he's to consider that his job is up. What Arsenal need now is a new management, a new coach. A coach that knows his honor and knows what he's supposed to do.
But not to cut you. You see, coaches like Conte, one of the reasons why he left Inter was because, yes, even after winning the league, when he sat with the board of Inter, he wanted assurances, he wanted money to strengthen the squad, but Inter made him understand that they don't have the kind of resources he needs to strengthen the squad. So he had to walk away. So if he comes to Arsenal, Conte might present, a budget for him to boost his squad. Do you think the Arsenal hierarchy will be able to, come up with these funds to ensure that Conte, delivers very well? That's another thing.
Well, but Arteta has not come out to tell you that he has not been given the budget or what he needed to buy the player. He has needed the player, and I don't know.
They have spent the most money this season so far.
Most of the players he wanted to buy, the club has allowed him to buy, and he has gotten the player he wants, but he has not making the best use of them. Okay, for instance, I think that came last season. He bought this Partey from Atletico Madrid. Before he bought Partey was a very good player. We show what he did against Liverpool.
Absolutely.
But Partey definitely, unfortunately, come to us now and become ordinary player. It shows that Arteta don't even know how to use the player he's buying. And at the same time, if you look at the player he buys, those are Ben Food and Ben White and Settle Lukuga from Real Madrid. So you question that are they the players Arsenal need? Is that the real issues? It's so that he don't know what he's doing and he's making a wrong choice. But I believe that if Conte come to the Arsenal at the moment, even yes, Arsenal, if you look at Arsenal players, you see that Arsenal may not have the player. But I strongly believe that if a better coach comes to Arsenal will start getting result, and those you can still use those players Arsenal have at the moment and get result. For
try
instance,
to even push for
just
Europe or something.
a vivid example is that if you look at Chelsea, when Lampard was there, Chelsea hierarchy, you see that Lampard was not getting the result. They bring this man, Tuchel. But fortunately, Tuchel did not buy any player. It was the same player Lampard was used that he cannot get the result. It was the same player so that he used. The target they gave to him was to qualify Chelsea to make sure Chelsea qualify for Champions League.
Exactly.
But fortunately, he qualified and also win the ultimate prize. The ultimate prize for any club in Europe is to win the Champions League, and he won the Champions League. And this season, you have seen that first match 5 goals without conceding a single goal, and it shows that they are in to compete for that this season. So Arsenal need a change of coach. Arteta has shown that the platform Arsenal is bigger than him.
Absolutely, I quite agree with you. We hope he gets results coming next weekend against City, so that at least you have a hope of keeping his job. But we are still on football. Talking about Messi, Lionel Messi has been also included in the Argentine squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. After winning the Copa America, he's yet to, really settle down to playing football. But he makes the squad. I mean, no, it's very obvious. I mean, he should have been there.
It is very obvious that he definitely have to back up. After the one the Copa America, he has not kicked any football. He has not kicked football. Except just only training or self-training, and he has not kicked football. But there's no how you assemble Argentina squad for a World Cup qualifier without having the Messi. He's the leader of the team. He's the captain of the team. Definitely, either he's going to play, he's not going to play. The coach has to call him. I think that one is not an issue. I don't believe that one is an issue. And if you also look at it, but at the World Cup, I see a World Cup qualifier. I saw that the Liverpool has also denied to release Mohamed Musala. Musala for the World Cup qualifier for the fear that there's a coronavirus in Egypt. I don't know why clubs are always adamant to release a player for their national team,
especially when it comes to African players.
Sometimes I begin to wonder why the interest. The World Cup qualifier is a normal FIFA transfer window for someone FIFA international break. For international break, and you are denied a player from representing his own country. It looks so stupid. I don't understand how to comprehend that argument that a club would deny a player of Mohamed Musala of his status to represent Egypt. I don't know what you say about this. Just this kind of argument.
Shortly before we go, we still the sports minister yesterday received Team Nigeria at who just came back from the under-20 World Athletic Championship at the Abuja airport, and that was a good one for them. And shortly before we go, if my producer has our question of the day, can we put it up? Okay, our question of the day is: who should be crowned the UEFA Player of the Year? Should it be Kante? Should it be Kevin De Bruyne? Or should it be Jorginho? Go right there to our Facebook page and send your comments. When we come here tomorrow, we'll read them all out. All right, Salifo, nice having you once again on another wonderful episode of Sports Orbit.
It's my pleasure.
All right, until we come your way again tomorrow with another wonderful episode of Sports Orbit, I remain your host, Afa Acho. And until we meet again, stay safe out there and goodbye.